Hello, friends. Welcome to Akulmach Live, and I'm your host, CK. Today, we are discussing about what opportunities are there and how you can leverage those opportunities. And this is basically a session for both for the job aspirant as well as for the education institutions. And lots have changed during past couple of years in the business. Why this session is required. This session is required simply because there are opportunities, but the institutions are not churning out enough skills in their students so that they can actually go and approach those opportunities and find what are these jobs. So there is a lot of mismatch in the expectations and in what the institutes are training you today. So therefore, I will talk about 7 new segments that you must learn as skills, and your CV must have those 7 segments. Additionally, in addition to your other stuff like your education qualification, etc. So today we will talk about that. And don't you think this is the important aspect of finding jobs? Because what is happening today? Well, you know that the students have a lot of aspirations. They want to basically get into a high paying job. And even if you are an engineer, uh, even if you're an MBA, or even if you're a doctor, you would need those special skills in order to secure the jobs. Simply because the business have expectations from whoever they want to hire, because the business today have certain way of doing things, and the expectation of the customers are also different than what it used to be. Therefore, lots have changed. And when we talk about this change, obviously some of the skills you may be trying to get into today, but you still need to get those skills if you're not working very hard to get those skills. And in this live stream we will discuss about what these 7 things that the businesses are expecting from their fresh hires. All right, let's proceed towards the first point, and that is the critical thinking and problem solving. This has become a major requirement for businesses. uh, in addition to your usual you know uh, your skill sets, like if you're an engineer, if you're a mechanical engineer, or if you're an MBA, you're expert in sales. However, the problems which the field is offering today are different from what you are trained to handle, because what you are trained to handle is only the academic stuff. But in addition to your academic, your knowledge, your expertise, the field is going to ask for your problem solving abilities. And this is also important because this is in fact becoming a sought after skill today. I mean, if you look at the businesses, they no longer require plain vanilla. They are looking for somebody who has the critical thinking abilities, understand the client's need, and provide a radical solution, because your clients are also different today. Most of the clients are the Gen Zs today. I mean, people who are born after 2000, millennials basically. And they are now calling the shots, and their expectations, the way they look at things, are totally different. So this is something which we must understand. And therefore the critical thinking ability, problem solving ability, is becoming one of the key uh, key requirement. Now you would say that, okay, fine, I will like to get become a problem solver, get those skills. So how would you get those skills? I may ask you, is there a course available in any university which is training you how to become a smarter person? How do you grasp the problems of the customer? How would you go out and say that, look, I'm the guy who can actually solve your problem in like 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, etc. There are no parameters for that. So therefore you need to find where how you can become the problem solver. What are the different types of problems that you can solve? And generally, if you make a statement in your CV that I can solve problem. That's a very generic statement. So therefore, as a job aspirant, you need to understand how do you make a very impressive problem solver section in your CV, and by giving some sort of example. And if you put this section in the top, in addition to your education qualification, you are also a great problem solver. It will make your CV stand out. Now there is a message for the education institutions also. You see what is happening, there is a mismatch in what you are sending to the field and what the consumption is going on. There is always a demand and supply, right? The demand is created by the field, by the business, and supply is basically all the institutions are training all the students and scholars, etc. They are churning them out and sending them to the field so that they can actually value add to the businesses. So there is a mismatch between demand and supply, and therefore this is something for institution also to, how they give more emphasis to problem solving skills in their students. So both ways, it is cutting. This is a message for both, for job aspirant who have just passed out and for the institutions who are churning these students out into the field. So from my point of view, put the problem solving skill as the prominent skill in your CV. All right, let's move to the next skills that may be required, and that is digital literacy. Literacy is no longer ability to use Excel and Word, etc., MS Office. It has gone beyond that. Digital literacy is how efficient you are in terms of using various social media and various AI based bots. Can you configure? Can you configure so that they can be helpful to you? You can be more productive using these latest technologies. And in fact, people are talking about digital quotient also. Just like an IQ, intelligent quotient, there is a digital quotient which is being talked about today. And there are basically parameters defined. If your DQ is high, then you tend to get more weightage in the job. You will be also more successful when it comes to finding jobs in the field, because this is what the businesses are looking for. Businesses are not looking for, okay, you please come join me, then I will basically make an orientation program for you for 6 months. You will be trainee for 6 months, and then after 6 months you will then be absorbed as a permanent employee, or maybe more than 6 months, or maybe less than 6 months. It doesn't matter. It's just an example. So businesses don't have patience for all this time. They expect that you are qualified, you have the right education qualification, but in addition to that, you should also have the digital quotient in you. They don't want to get the plain vanilla, as I said. So the second section in your CV must be how is your digital quotient is higher than the others. What kind of capabilities you have when it comes to using the current AI models, generative AI models, and how you can basically use the social media to the benefit of the company. Have you done this work in the past? Have you done it for yourself? Have you done it for the college or institution or university or school? Have you done it for any other company where you were training prior to joining this this position? So the second most prominent section in your CV must be about your digital literacy, your digital awareness, and how quickly you can ramp up your abilities to return the investment in you back to the company. So digital literacy and technological proficiency, how technically sound you are, etc. So I think the second section in your CV must talk about your digital literacy, how good you are, etc. Now let's move to the next section of your CV, and that is the communication and collaboration. Now these communication and collaboration is absolutely critical. These are soft skills, but now they have become the hard skills. They are the skills you must have. So today, if you are going to the school, if you are in the middle school, then the schools are giving a lot of emphasis to public speaking, nice communication. They are already doing that. But if you are fresher, probably your school did not give so much emphasis on the communication skills. And suppose you're 20 years old and you're trying to find a job and your communication is not so good, then you will have problem in convincing your future employers, beg your pardon, in hiring you. Because whatever you are, even if you are an engineer, you are a chartered accountant, if you do not know the collaborative, if you do not have the collaboration knowledge in you, then it will be very difficult for the new generation businesses to engage with you, because that is what they are doing today. Gone are the days where the businesses used to basically hire people and then they will say that, okay, I have got 200,000 people working for me. Those are not the parameter of growth any longer. So businesses are basically letting go people and they are hiring special category people which will be very good in communication and collaboration. Because if you are a good communicator and you also have knowledge of techniques of collaboration, meaningful collaborations which can be measured, then that kind of employee is very useful for the businesses today. Whatever business you are doing, it's not only the software business or mechanical business. Whatever type of businesses you're doing, the communication is the most important item. Therefore, make sure that your CV has the third section as what kind of expertise you have when it comes to collaboration and also the communication. All right, let's move to the next point on our list. So far, we have covered 3 sections that you need to add to your CV in addition to what you have done so far. All right, let's move to the next point, and that is adaptability and learning. Adaptability and learning. Because why this is a skill? I mean, these are all soft skills, but they are very, very sought after skill today. Why? Simply because the landscape is changing very rapidly. The changes are so rapid that even businesses find it difficult. If they are huge, they find it difficult to steer in the right direction. So businesses are also very agile. When we talk about very agile and adaptive business, when you expect this from a company, the company would then in turn expect this from the employees, right? And if you are looking for a job, and if you are very rigid in your approach, you are not quick learner, and you will find it difficult to make a mark when you actually go out and represent the company, then it will be a big challenge for you to succeed in your job. And again, as I said, any kind of business today, all kinds of businesses are looking for the quick learner. Why the quick learners are required? Simply because if you can learn quickly, then you can come out with a solution for the customer or the stakeholder. And this is absolutely important because if you spend a lot of time in learning, adapting to the changing environment, and environment is changing very rapidly, we know that it is changing constantly. What it is today, the new policy will change the landscape after 6 months. So therefore, adaptability is a critical item which should be your next item after communication, and you must have proven skill sets when it comes to adaptability. Your CV must have those sections about adaptability and ability to learn. How quickly you are able to learn certain things. Like, for example, you can actually emphasize on that portion in your CV that you were given a challenge during your studies or during your first training job, and how quickly you were able to do that. With what kind of tools you were able to use, for example, generative AI or any other Google search engine, or physically you must have done something So you can give an emphasis on that, and that will make sure that your CV is different from others. Let's look at the next one. Since we are becoming global, our businesses are not limited to our confinement, because most of the businesses are happening through online mechanisms. The culture is playing a major role. It's not only the culture that you have to know the other guy's culture, other guys must also know your culture. So therefore, the culture competency, how do you understand how people live in different countries, what are their do's and don'ts, is there a challenge, whatever you do, is that accepted in that place? And this culture competency is cutting across all countries. It's not limited to only one country, etc. That is a general understanding of, do you understand the culture? Do you understand, some countries cricket is a religion by itself, some other countries it's the baseball, or for example a soccer game. So sometimes these things can actually create issues. I mean, suppose you say that, look, I don't care about football, and you're talking to a Latin American, somebody from Latin America. It could create a problem for you, because now you're, going back to how do you gel with a new person in an online medium, creates a problem. So you need to know what are the cultural consideration, uh, dressing sense, all this part of the cultural normalization, the cultural competency. So whether you can dress nicely, or is there a cultural barrier? So things like that. Some people don't like to see a lot of small talk going into your call, right? Or a video chat. So you have to know, there has to be a normalization when it comes to the culture portion to it. And therefore this is also one important aspect. Suppose you are looking for a job in a business which is working in a certain section of the world, then you must talk about that. Hey, for example, Africa, that you have done business in Africa. What are the nuances which are there? Expectations of the political class, expectation of the people, how they behave. You have thorough knowledge, because if you're able to demonstrate that in that CV of yours, then you will be immediately valuable for the organization, because their business is in that country and you know the nuances of communication in those countries. So you immediately become very valuable to them. So make sure that, earlier the CV never used to talk about these things, but if your CV is talking about these things, that you have done business in Africa, for example, or a certain country, or in China, which is so different from the rest of the world, then, or Japan, because such a close society, so then you are immediately valuable, and you must talk about that in your CV. People used to talk about personality and education, stuff like that, but I think in today's world these things carry a lot of weightage, and then it will short circuit your interest of finding jobs. All right, let's move to the next point, and that is about being behavioral change in yourself. Gone are the days where you will say, okay, fine, I will join a company, and then I will keep getting my salary regularly on a bi-weekly basis, or on a monthly basis, whatever the case may be, whichever place you are, because certain places you get fortnightly wages, and certain countries you get monthly wages. But the expectation of the business today is that you should be a CEO material yourself. You should inculcate your inner CEO. And when we talk about inner CEO, obviously this is something which is in you as an entrepreneur. If you are managing certain portion of the business, whoever you are, whichever kind of job, if your approach is not like a CEO, then see the organizations will see that, okay, now you are not an independent worker, you are looking for certain help from others, and the help, then that means you are not an independent worker, and you will need a lot of support from other people in order to succeed. So to avoid this kind of impression going out in your CV, you must talk about your inner CEO in this CV. How, even though not a CEO, you are a job seeker, but then you should be able to talk about that you are an independent player. You can actually handle situation by yourself. You can do a quick thinking, you can take decisions, and you can do problem solving. You are a critical thinker. These are all the qualities of a CEO, and this is the kind of profile the businesses are looking for today. Why they are looking for? Because they don't want too much baggage. They don't want, the businesses don't want that if I hire a person, he can only do ABC, and then in order to do ABC he would need XYZ, and then for the XYZ he need another employee, so that now there is a team. A cannot function without B cannot function without A. you know so that kind of thing, the businesses are not having bandwidth. They are not looking for people who like a matrix organization. There used to be an era where there was a lot of matrix organizations, especially the large ones, but slowly all this is going away. There are a lot of changes happening because of the internet, because of social media, the way you actually talk, the boundaries of your state or boundaries of the countries are dissolving gradually. More and more people are now having conversations globally. More and more businesses are becoming global in nature, and at least the communication part is actually becoming global. And then if you have a policy framework, then you can obviously do the global businesses. But the technology today, the social media, the sales and marketing engine are truly breaking the barriers, and they are going beyond your country boundary, borders, etc. So therefore, in such a situation, if you are not independent, not able to take decisions, businesses will find very difficult for you to absorb you in the company, because that's the culture that they are expecting. So this is something which you should talk about in your CV. And lastly, social responsibility. This is also very, very important. For example, climate change. So now the COP26 and now the COP29 is going to happen, which is talking about the climate change. So how well aware you are about the climate issues that are now affecting the world. So if you're not aware about the climate change, then how will you ensure that your stakeholders with whom you are having conversation know that you are doing business, but are you spoiling the climate? What is the type of measures you have taken to understand as a business, as a small entity? Are you cognizant of the fact that the climate must be protected? Things like that. And in certain cases there are policy framework. In fact, a lot of companies are also including the climate portion in their agreements. So whenever they do sales agreement, there is a portion on the climate with the legal language. So you have to give emphasis in your CV about how well versed you are with the situations which are affecting the world today. So climate is one, social responsibility is another one. Are you responsible? Are you spamming? Are you doing anything which is not ethical? Things like that. So, and how do you protect yourself also from these things? Cyber security. So these kind of things will actually make you different among the other competition who are trying to find a job. So these are the 7 points, friends, which I wanted to talk about. Ensure that you purposely look at these 7 sections in your CV, and if you're able to do all these 7 sections in your CV will definitely will be better than rest of the crowd, and you will be able to succeed whichever country you are. These are the common standard things which businesses are looking for, whether you are in a large country like India, US, or even in a small country in Europe or any other country anywhere in the world. These are the common issues that everybody across the world are facing. So make sure that you change your CV, include these things that I have informed you. Just in case if you need any help, my coordinates are given below. You can reach out to me as well. So wishing you all the best and Happy New Year. Bye for now.